Welcome back to Switch to Linux. Well, this is the another one of our breakout stories from our weekly news roundup. The link is in the description for the entire show if you want to see all of it. The quick links, the Sillyville, the comments, and things like that. That'll be down below. But today we want to talk about this thought I've been having lately, looking at some of the new scams going in and some of the brilliant things people are doing. Should we hold big tech companies liable for the scams that are perpetrated utilizing their resources? Now, actually, I had a good conversation with a friend of mine about this today, just before going live, who was kind of looking at, are we policing their content or are we policing something else? And that really was a point of contention that we were thinking about. And as he originally thought I'm talking about policing the content, I agree that's bad. Of course, he was thinking Section 230 type stuff. Well, Section 230 does not apply because Section 230 is specifically for publishing things. This is specifically for social media or YouTube or Rumble or Facebook or any of these types of things where a user can upload, you have a platform, users upload content. That's Section 230, and there's Section 230 protections that holds the company not liable for anything a user uploads, but they have to have a means to take actual damaging content down. So that is one of those factors. These are not 230 protections. These are not social media groups. These are development test servers. These are backend deals. These are just functions of the service which are being exploited by scammers in ways that many times these companies should be able to detect. So my proposal is, if somebody happens to get scammed, let's say they get scammed out of $10,000 because they clicked on a phishing link and it allowed somebody utilizing the big tech resources to break into their bank account and steal $10,000, I think that the company that hosted the scammer stuff should be liable to make good for that lost $10,000. And maybe if we start doing that, it's not going to take about 2 or 3 times they got to pay something out before they start cleaning up their platforms. And it might mean a loss of some of the free services. I'm okay with that. Because, hey, if you got to collect payment for some of the things, at least you know who to turn off quit pretty easily. But I wanted to kind of talk about this in light of a number of different things. Of course, going back to what we've talked about many, many times, so many times on the weekly news roundup, we stopped talking about it because it's like every week. So I pretty much stopped collecting these, but I want to bring it back for completion of our story today. Hackers exploiting companies' Google ad accounts to serve malicious ads. This is a scamming type called malvertising. The idea here is that a scammer will put together some website and they will buy ads, and then those ads are not legitimate products. They are pushing you to a malicious site. And when you get to this malicious site, then what ends up happening is they click it, they get malware installed or get a phishing attempt or do some other thing in which they are losing it. Now, in this case here, these companies are literally paying Google money to be listed as ads. And the thing that makes it hard to spot is that if you look at these, look at what's going on here, there is a sponsored ad up here. And you see it says ads.google.com. Well, if you go to your browser and you type ads.google.com, it takes you to what was the AdSense. I think it's just called Google Ads now. It takes you to the official Google page and you log in. The problem is this link over here does not actually take you to ads.google.com, because what is displayed right here in this link is manually inserted by the person buying the ad. Now, Google is supposed to verify that the ad you buy has a top-level domain, that's the google.com part, that matches where the ad's going, but they don't. They want the money. So over here, you do a search for Google Ads, you will get an ad for Google Ads that is actually taking you to a malware site. Right below it is the official googleads.com. So what they're doing is they are utilizing the ads to rank for commonly searched for things. So is it Rufus? Was it Rufus? It was Etcher. I think Etcher was one. You search for Etcher. You search for CCleaner. A number of different tools or programs you might search for on the internet, they were taking out ads of these things. And if you click that first thing, which was an ad, which of course they want you to click because they're disabling your ad blockers and penalizing you for running them and making your life miserable if you do, you click on that ad and the ad actually takes you to a malicious place. So the tweet there is just kind of the same thing. So this is the ad over here. It says a sponsored ad over here. When you click on it, it would take you to sites.google.com, which is another Google service. This is a second Google service. So the ad buy is the first Google service. This takes you to the second Google service, which is basically a test HTML site where you can go places. You land there, it automatically forwards you to evil.com. And it might even request hey, Google login. Oh, I got to log into my Google account. You're not thinking about it, and you've just entered your username and password. And in the more sophisticated means, now they can intercept your MFA and break actually into your Google account. Meanwhile, you're sitting there fiddling around, not logged in at all. By the time you realize it, they've already changed your passwords, kicked you out, and have now fully accessed your Google account. All because they started with this Google product, then they used this Google product to use some other website to steal your credentials that locks you out of your account or steals your bank information or encrypts your files and forces you to, pay money for a decryption key or whatever else. So all of these Google services were being used. Why is Google not held liable when so many of its services are used to scam so many people? Dropbox is one of the biggest things that's used for scams. I'm sorry, I will not click your Dropbox links. Find some other way to send me your files, folks. Okay. Dropbox scams. So the Dropbox scams are designed to look legit. So some of these are literally using Dropbox to host malicious files. So Dropbox is actually hosting malicious files. Some of these are spoof pages that simply look like Dropbox login pages. And so, obviously we can't do anything if somebody's spoofing the page. That's on you to investigate the URL you're on. But when I actually download a file I think is legitimate, that's actually being distributed by Dropbox, what liability does Dropbox have to make sure its services are not pushing malware? I mean, you guys can ban my content if I say the word Cody, hypnotics, or COVID-19. You can instantly spot that and ban me for it. It's happened multiple times on my channel. I've gotten community strikes for talking about the open source project of Cody, which by the way is still for download in the Google Play Store. So you can download it, you can install it, you just can't do a tutorial on it on YouTube. You'll get a community strike. I know. I got 2 or 3 of them for Cody. Hypnotics, got a community strike for that. Open source application involved in Linux Mint. COVID-19, do we need to talk about that one again? It turned out, by the way, this guy was the one that was right on the side of the history. Yeah, isn't it funny? Y'all can ban me in a hot second for simply saying these words, but you can't discover you're distributing malware on your site? Dropbox should be liable when malware on their site leads to a financial loss of another person. I agree with that. So obviously if it's mimicking it, looking closely like it, that doesn't apply. Just because you have to learn how to read your emails and stuff. But if the site used to actually phish you is actually a big tech site and you can prove that, I think the company should be held liable. They can pay out a little bit of money. Let's go biblical on them and say they have to pay out 3-fold for their losses. There you go. This is a brand new one. You can now grok your way in. This is called Grokking. This is a new exploit utilizing, of course, Twitter or X or whatever they're calling it this week. The the Elon platform, right? So by manipulating the platform's ad system and exploiting Grok's trusted voice, cybercriminals are now smuggling poison link into promoted posts that look legitimate and then using Grok to vouch for them. So it fuses the reach of paid advertising with the credibility of AI-generated responses, creating a perfect storm for unsuspecting users. Security researchers warn that the method has already exposed millions of people to malicious websites, proving that even AI designed to inform and protect can be hijacked to deceive. So basically how it works here is you start by sending in a picture with metadata in it. Of course, that metadata always gets you. Okay, so description, author, all this kind of stuff. And so they upload the post, which isn't a problem. So there's this, and then the scammer will come down and say, hey, at Grok, where's this video from? Now it jumps into the metadata, searches it out, and says, hey, it's sourced from this site right here. Well, this is the malicious domain that is being amplified by Grok. So there's your grokking, just hiding the malicious stuff in the metadata, which is not scanned on the upload, and then just asking Grok to read out the metadata for you. There you go, folks. Of course, iCloud was used. This is actually a combination of iCloud and Microsoft. Apple and Microsoft can split the bill for your financial losses on this one. So this is utilizing the iCloud calendar. Now, why are they doing this? Well, the thing is, if they send it from their crazy domain, blah, 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 .xyz, it's going to get blocked. DMARC's going to be like, what is this nonsense? Your email filter, laughs at it. Kind of like if you didn't watch, there was this crazy guy, a couple different big body cam channels covered it. There was this kind of crazy looking Russian dude with long, greasy hair who hadn't showered. It looks like weeks, wearing a pink Powerpuff Girls shirt and had a rainbow phoenix on the side of his truck and like a whole PDF file den in the passenger seat of his car, like whole decked out in this whole easily removed thick blanket with stuffed animals in the front, and he's got zip ties, a knife, and a .38 in his glove box, and he's driving on school property, following little girls around, and the police come up. It's like, this is kind of crazy. That's how your email system should look at it if blah, 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 .xyz sends you an email. Okay. So it should, this dude's creepy. Let's block him out, treat him like the Powerpuff Girls, Russian dude, But when iCloud sends you something, that's from a trusted domain. So now they're utilizing the iCloud because let's utilize that trusted domain that we can use to send all sorts of links out. So that's what they're doing. Of course, you need to find a place to send that thing from. We got to have a way to send that thing from. So let's just use Microsoft. That sounds great. So iCloud calendar invites are being abused to send callback phishing emails disguised as purchase notifications directly from Apple's email servers, making them more likely to bypass spam filters and land in targets' inboxes. So this was an email sent to Bleeping Computer. They basically said, hey, here's your $599 invoices. There's a problem, click the link over here, of course, or give us a call. Now, the phone number, of course, is tied to a known scammer. That's kind of funny. Like, why are there lists of known scammer phone numbers? Why haven't they all been shut down? If you can block my video for saying COVID-19, maybe you can scrub every service in big tech from every website which happens to have the malicious phone number on it. Just thinking here, just put that in there instead of COVID-19, So the goal of the email is to trick recipients into thinking their PayPal account was fraudulently charged to make them click the button or call the support phone number here. So by abusing this, what they're doing is the calendar invite's going to send from no reply at email.apple.com, passing all of the SPF, DMARC, and DKIM security checks, signifying that it legitimately came from the Apple server. So it passes everything perfectly. So the problem is that the system is coming from a Microsoft 365 account, which also passes verification. This is billing3 at williamdickersonltd.onmicrosoft.com. So now it passes that one there because Microsoft, they really want everybody to have a Microsoft account. We don't care what you're using it for. Oh, you're using it to spam and fish and steal money from people? That's great. As long as you got the Microsoft account, we're happy. Will you do anything about it when it does it? No, we do not want to kick people off unless you engage in wrongthink. You talk about COVID-19 or Brian Duke, you're out of here. Okay, I mean, come on. Stealing money from people? Yeah, that's acceptable. So if Apple and Microsoft and Google and Dropbox, if their actual services are being used and that leads to actual financial losses in people, do we think that they should be held liable to return those funds to the stolen person? And hey, here's a thought. Turn it over to your insurance company and then work with your insurance company to figure out who the guy is. And then probably willing to bet he's coming from a little country with a GDP about a fraction of that of Wyoming. So tell the company, hand the guy over to us and pay us what we just had to pay out for your guy, or we're going to shut your services off in your country. And most people are like, they got the power. I don't have the power to go after the scammer who just scammed me for $10,000, but Google has both the power to do it and the money to do it. Maybe they, for giving us all of these free, wonderful services, maybe they should give us our money back, and they should then use their resources to reimburse themselves on their own dime. I think it'd be effective. And if that type of stuff happened, guess what? I bet we'd see a lot less scammers on the platforms. Scammers would be like, I don't know, man. They're actually going to get me and steal all my money, and then my country's going to hand me over for fraud, and then I'll be over there in, alligator Alcatraz or something. I don't know. I think it's a good approach, though. Let me know if I'm onto something in the comments down there. Have a link. Look at the link in the comments down there for the whole show. This is just a small clip of the show. Thanks for watching, and let's jump on over to our next segment.